Hey there, it's Lacy J from Space Bear Media, the makers of Lost in My 40s. Did you know that you can go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, including our weekly video pre-shows where your hosts ponder ethical questions related to the week's episode and answer some fun questions just for, well, fun. Speaking of fun, if you have it thanks to our content, please consider rating or reviewing Lost in My 40s on your favorite app, or recommend us to a friend who loves Lost. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Lost in My 40s. We are in Season 2, Episode 16. It's titled The Whole Truth. It's a Sun episode, and Christy is going to give it to us. But first, my husband, Benjamin, is going to tell us about the most boring power rankings of the show so far. You can just say everything's the same if you want to.
Well, in first place, we have Mr. Echo. Behind him in second place is Locke. Kate came to a roaring third place finish last week, supplanting the mayor of Island Town.
The Miller? I thought you said the Miller of Island Town.
I said mayor, and I kind of fucked it up a little bit, so tried
oh
to
my
cover.
God.
So yeah, bottom of the row, we still got Charlie, Randy Douchebag Nations, and Mr. Koopa. Not much really going on there.
Alrighty then. Well, while I sit over here thinking about ways to make our power rankings less fucking boring, Christy, why don't you take us through the whole truth?
All right. Well, we start in flashback number 1. Sun is standing in front of a mirror. And you can hear Jen in the background ask if she's coming to bed. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but her facial expression here is not great. It does not look like she's looking forward to bedtime. And then she visibly changes her facial expression before she walks into the bedroom.
Yep. Been in that relationship.
Wonder how often that happens.
Yeah. So she puts on a happy face, goes into the bedroom, and she's wearing this cute little nightie.
She is, but hello to Jin in the bed.
Yes.
Like, fine as fuck, laying there looking.
Oh,
yeah, he's a hot guy, so definitely. So she comes in wearing her nightie, and Jin compliments her and asks her to spin around, and she's a little shy, but she does spin around. And
now
then
grab
she
your
gets in
ankles.
bed and kisses him.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
Benjamin.
Grab your ankles.
So she gets into bed and she kisses him. And then very romantically, Jen asks if she's taken her temperature.
What?
So
not
she
hot.
comments on,
Not
yeah,
hot.
she's like,
No.
infertility is not romantic.
Yeah.
I mean, is
figured
that
you guys would know.
So does the temperature really change? I mean, is that a...
Apparently,
Yes.
if
Yeah.
a
So
woman's temperature goes down, then that means that she's ovulating.
Yeah. So, for somebody who went through this, trying to get pregnant for many years, what she's measuring is called her basal body temperature. And you have to take the temperature at the same time every day, and you plot it on a chart. And you look for the trend where it drops, which means that an egg is being released, which means you have like 72 hours to get the sperm in there, basically.
It's pretty hot. It's pretty
she's
hot.
trying to get pregnant, right?
Get
So
the
it's not.
sperm in there.
Yeah.
It's not a romantic thing trying to get pregnant. So
Well, you just
anyway.
do it every day, and then you'll sure to nail it in one of the 28 days.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Say do it every day. Like, that sounds like it's a good thing. But when you're trying to get a baby, like make a baby, it's tedious sometimes, the sex. Like, I cannot believe we have to do this right now.
Oh, you do it like the same time or something?
Well, you have no.
Time?
I mean, you have a window. There's a window of a few days, and then you have to do that. No matter what is going on in your life, if you're trying to get pregnant, like you have to pay attention to that.
You have to do it the same way every time. It was like, don't look at my face. Don't look at my face. It was a fun time.
Not exactly. If you want to hear more about it, you can go over to Space Bear Media's other podcast, Mawage, Mawwage. It's Ben and I. We talk all about marriage and non-monogamy, and our adventures in infertility makes an appearance. Anywho.
Oh, there we go. What, 3 minutes maybe?
6.
6 minutes?
All right.
Nah, we cut the first few.
Yeah, we
and
cut
you guys
the
will
first
never
few.
know
Yeah.
why. You'll never know what you missed.
So she's commenting on how not romantic infertility is. And then Jen's like, well, we've been trying for a year, and he thinks that they should go to a doctor. And she gets a little snarky. She's like, why do you care so much about a baby that you wouldn't even see?
Ouch!
Yeah. So then he is like trying to defend his work because it's for them. And then Son says, when a man comes home with blood on his hands, that isn't work. He snaps back at her and he says, he has blood on his hands because of her father and what he makes him do. Son starts crying. Jen gets out of bed to go be handsome and look out the window.
Looking hot as fuck.
Yeah. So he apologizes to Son and says, maybe if they had a baby, her dad would, reconsider what he makes Jen do. And he says, a baby will change everything. A baby will make it better.
No!
For
no!
anyone out there in the world.
Red flag!
Yeah, a baby will not make it better. Not in the history of the world has a baby made it better.
And for all you know,
there ain't no baby making the night.
Honestly, you need to be ready for a child because for all you know, it's going to come out ugly as fuck. We all know how that's possible.
All right.
Oh, God. Sorry.
Let's make fun of the ugly kid right now.
Every time we talk about children, it's the only thing I can think of. Sorry. It's day 60 on the island now.
Yep. Son's working in her garden. And she hears a rustling in the bushes that scares her. But it turns out to be Jen. So he's upset that she's in her garden because that's where the others kidnapped her from. He grabs her by the arm and tries to help her stand up. And she just jerks away from him. She's like, I'm here in my garden. This is where I'm staying. He gets pissed off.
Fuck you. I'm gardening in my white pants.
Yeah, buddy.
He starts ripping her plants out of the ground.
This is not good.
He just destroys her garden. And then he's like, now you have no reason to be out here.
Are you fucking for real, bro? What are you doing?
Yeah.
As often as
she
did the same thing not too long ago. As often as they rip their own fucking gardens up, my guess is that this is not a reliable food source for the rest of the people on the island.
No.
Yeah, she replanted it then, but I mean, this is bad. What are you doing? Destroying her garden, Jen? Like, there's no self-control there at all.
Yeah, he's being an asshole again.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed.
More
in him in
backsliding this season.
Again, yeah.
So she storms off, he follows, and then we get the lost title screen. Now we have Ana Lucia running down the beach, and she's running like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
This does not look like she's out for a morning jog, but I think that's the way they're playing it.
It is, and she's still wearing her jeans. How do you jog in jeans?
Yeah,
on a tropical island, they would just be stuck. You can't. Stupid.
I would be so uncomfortable.
Yeah, with that belt, that low midriff belt she's got going on there, it's like, oh man. I mean, it looks great. I'm not gonna knock the aesthetic, but but not very good exercise. She's got going there.
So she runs over to her shelter, and Locke is sitting there under a tree eating a banana.
When this happened, and she walked up to him, for some reason I kept thinking of him looking at her and going, nanners. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
So instead, he comments on how she looks like she's running from the devil, and Anna says that maybe she is. And he starts trying to chat with her, and she interrupts him. And she's like, we've been here a week, and you haven't said 2 words to me. Now you're outside of my tent. And Locke just jumps right in. He tells her that they have a man in the hatch that's been there for 3 days. Since she was a cop and has experience with, oh my God.
Hey, Lacy.
Oh, wicked.
Son, don't do it. Don't do it. Look what could happen. Oh my God.
So for anybody who doesn't know what just happened, Derek just showed us the picture of the baby again.
The ugly baby.
The ugly baby.
I'm just glad he doesn't look like that anymore. Those other pictures were, he looks like normal. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Yeah. So Locke is like, you used to be a cop. You have experience with the others. I think that you should talk to him. And she's like, well, does Jack know that you're coming to me? And Locke says, we've got a serious problem. I'm taking the necessary steps to solve it. I don't need Jack's permission to talk with you right now. There's a man sitting in a room in my hatch, and I want him out.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
my hatch, she says.
Yeah, my
Wait
hatch.
a second. I guess if you're the one doing the dishes, maybe it's yours. I don't know. But he said, my hatch. There's a man in my hatch.
I think maybe you might be compensating for something that Mr. Gale might have said to you last episode, I'm guessing.
Yep, might be.
Locke is major triggered, and
yeah, man.
he is not holding it together right now. He's really not.
He is like going around marking his territory this whole fucking episode. It's great.
All right.
Yeah. So now we see Sun. I guess she ditched Jin at some point. She's walking towards the beach, and she doubles over in pain near a tree. You can hear Rose and Bernard walking up the beach, and they're having a disagreement. And Bernard is, asking Rose to give him a little break. And then they notice that Sun is in pain, so they go over to her. Sun's like, I'm just a little lightheaded. And Bernard sees that she's pale as a sheet,
Yeah.
And Rose tells him to get her some water. And he grumpily says, yes, ma'am.
Is a sheet, is that a saying? White as a sheet? I've never heard that before.
Yeah, pale
White
as
as a sheet, pale as a sheet. Yeah.
No. I always think of sheets as coming in all kinds of, different colors. So I never really...
They do. That's true.
Maybe they always used to be white because they're
probably.
I don't know.
I guess. Yeah.
Probably. I mean, in the onset of sheets, they were probably white.
Onset of sheets.
In the onset.
I'm just saying, like, if you're considering
with the onset of sheets.
If you're considering how long sheets have been around, probably the majority of people couldn't afford dyes. So they were probably white.
Yeah, well, no. As long as there's been people taking sheets.
At the onset of sheets. Like,
I think they're
disease.
In the days, in the days of
Googling
yore,
sheets.
before the onset of sheets.
White as a sheet, yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. In the days of fucking yore, people couldn't afford dye. So they had white sheets because cotton is white, because sheep are white.
They are.
Shall we move on?
You don't make sheets out of sheep's wool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, because cotton is white.
What about satin?
Yeah, leave it at cotton is white.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Have you ever seen an actual cotton plant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really fucking cool.
Yeah, they don't look like how you might expect them to look.
The plants don't, but they the fucking cotton balls look like
are just like cotton balls. Yeah, they do look like little cotton balls.
Yeah. Anyhow, so Rose tells Bernard to get Sun some water. He's like, yes, ma'am. And Rose tells her to ignore Bernard. She says, he's just angry because he forgot about my birthday.
Oops. He says, I don't even know what day of the week it is, Rose. And she goes, Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Oh.
So Sun says that she thinks that she's just spent too much time in the sun. Rose worries that Sun has caught something from Aaron and encourages her to go and see Jack. And just a little side note, I think that Rose should really cut Bernard some slack here.
I do too.
Hi,
Yeah.
I haven't known what day of the week it is in like 2.5 years.
Exactly.
Saturday.
It took
It's
her.
still 2020 in my brain. So, you know.
It took Rose nothing. Somebody who was in distress. She had to out her husband to somebody who was in distress just right there. Like she was very, very eager to tell somebody that Bernard had forgotten her birthday.
Oh, she was kidding, though, don't you think? I mean, she was.
I don't really feel like she was.
You don't think so?
I think she was being a little.
She was just. I read it as playful a little bit, but
I
maybe
did
not.
I read it as a little passive aggressive.
Oh.
So the term bed sheet was first used in the 15th century. Bed sheets were traditionally white and made of cotton, linen, or silk, but now various colors and patterns are used. So there you go.
There you go. Why does
a sheet?
1400s people.
Yeah, because
started-
I'm telling you, because people in the fucking 1400s didn't have extra cash laying around to be dyeing their goddamn bed sheets.
Plus, most of them were dying of the plague.
Yeah, they had other things to do than make decorative
What
sheets.
a horrible time to have been alive. Jesus God.
Oh, yeah. Medieval times, I'm fascinated by them.
Oh, I do too. I love it. I'm very fascinated by
like
it.
history-wise, and I love English history and stuff, but holy shit, what a brutal time. It's terrible.
Yeah, unless you were like a king or a lord, you were fucked.
Yeah, but even that, like I get like king or a lord, like you've got the cushy type stuff, but think about being a king. Literally everybody wants to kill you. You can't have a normal life. That sounds like a horrible
everyone's
fucking
trying
life.
to get your,
They want the
become the king
throne, and
themselves,
it's just the stress
Everyone
of that
wants to kill
sounds
you,
terrible.
and every bacteria, virus, and fungus can kill you. Like,
Yeah, right, exactly.
And it killed half the children before they were one.
Yeah, exactly.
Most women in childbirth and oh god. Let's not
read
talk
about how
anymore.
the germ theory disease and how some guy, I think it was in Austria, proved that
Yeah,
washing your hands, and they laughed him out.
Oh,
He
they
ended up
laughed. They
dying,
laughed at him. Yeah,
and
washing
he
your
ended up
hands in
dying in an
surgery.
insane asylum.
Yep.
Yep.
Because
Because they
doctors
thought it
don't
was
spread
nuts.
disease. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. They thought the idea of
Horrible.
something invisible, a pathogen, they just couldn't fathom it. Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh God, stop it.
All right, so we are in flashback number 2, and Sun enters a swanky hotel room and puts the "Do Not Disturb" sign on the door. And Jay, the man that the matchmaker set her up with, is there. Jay wants to know if Jin knows that Sun is there with him, and she says that she couldn't bring herself to tell him just as she drops her coat. They both lean down to pick it up, and they kind of stop and share a look. There's what looks like some sexual tension starting to build.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It was building for me too.
So he asks her if she wants something to drink, and she asks for iced tea.
He's like,
And
no,
then
we
he
don't have
tells
any.
her-
We don't have any iced tea, but I got some hot D right here.
Oh man.
Would you like to touch my penis? Does anybody remember? Does anybody get that reference? I didn't really sound German. I just sounded sort of weird. But does anyone remember the 90s movie, Can't Hardly Wait?
Oh god.
I
that's
remember
another-
that. I remember
I think
that.
Jennifer
I
Love
saw it
Hewitt.
once.
Jennifer Love Hewitt starred in it.
Jennifer Love huge tits.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. And it, it's like a teenage graduation night comedy or something. But there was some German exchange student with all the high schoolers, and they were teaching him phrases, and that was all he says.
Yeah. Would
Walked
you like
around,
to touch my
Would
penis?
you like to touch my penis? And I don't know why that popped into my head, but there you go.
She asks for iced tea, and he tells her to say it in English. And so she, pretends like she's, struggling with it. And she says, "I would like iced tea, please." He wants to know if she feels like talking, but she says not really. And then he says that he thinks that Jin would be proud to know that, Sun could speak English. And she says, I can't tell him because then I would have to explain how I've learned it. And, Jay says, if you're uncomfortable with our arrangement, we can stop. And She says, "Is that what you want?" He says, "No. This is good practice for me too."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, he's a cunning linguist.
I don't think you're worried about your English practice,
That's right.
Mr. Man.
So now we're down in the hatch, and Jack is getting out of the shower, and Locke just happens to be standing there shaving.
What the
Power
fuck?
move.
I
Power
love
move
it.
on Locke's
I
part.
love
Power
it. Total
move.
power move. And
Come
he
on,
totally
get out of the shower. Here I am.
He totally
biatch.
checks out Jack's package too.
He
Oh,
does.
yeah.
He looks
I
down.
have
no idea.
I did notice that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Jack,
It's like,
Sizing up the
shit,
competition.
I got you
Yeah.
in my sights, Doc.
Jack asks Locke why he couldn't wait, and Locke's like, "Well, the steam opens my pores." So yeah, so Locke definitely checks out Jack's package,
Yep.
but also Jack, seriously, there are like 40-ish people in the camp. Do you really expect to have full privacy in the only shower that you guys have access to?
Yes, he does.
He
I was
does.
like,
He's
that's
king.
just
He's
a
King
little-
He's
Jack.
Jack. Damn it. He's
Yeah.
Jack.
I think that that's a lot to ask, and I honestly don't know why more of the people aren't like, "Hey, I'm going to hang out in the hatch for a while."
Yeah, I think like as a hobby, I would just perch myself up on that sink and watch everybody take showers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Ain't much
sure.
else to do, really.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Towel, I'd be helpful.
There won't be any. There
very open
won't be any
pores.
fruit or vegetables to harvest because Jen already ripped up the fucking
Yeah.
The garden, right?
gardens. So there's no boars anymore.
So-
What the fuck are people going to do?
Lacy's like, "Well, my job is bathroom attendant."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Locke says that it also gives them a chance to talk about their Henry problem. Since Henry's been there for 3 days and is obviously not motivated to cooperate. So Jack says, how are we supposed to motivate him? And Locke suggests using Ana Lucia since that's who Jack went to start his army.
Mm-mm-mm.
And Jack says, "I'll talk to Anna." And then Locke is like, "I already have. She's in there with him now."
Oh.
Yeah.
Locke keeps flexing nuts.
Bam.
Got you
Yeah.
again, Jack. Got you again.
Definitely a flex.
I
So
am
now we're in the armory.
so turned on. Whew. All right, in the armory.
All right. Are you okay?
I'm getting there.
She's sliding off her seat.
She's frothing at the gash.
Oh, God. Oh, wow. Okay. In the armory, Henry asks Anna if she was on the plane as well. And she tells him that she was in the tail section that happened to crash on the other side of the island. And she wants to know his story. And he's like, it's really pointless. I've already told Jack, Locke, the big black guy who cut his beard in front of me, Saeed, who beat the shit out of me.
I think he called him his buddy.
What?
He said, "My buddy Saeed."
Yeah. Another, but before they go into this though, when she says that they walked from the other side of the island, he says, "Oh, that must have been fun." And the way that he says it and the eyes that he makes there, it's like, oh, wait a second, there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
So
that's
she-
along the lines of I know he knows everything that's happening, which was how I thought that he knew about Shannon, right? Knew about the death when he was poking at Saeed. This would be the same if he had that information, just
Possibly,
subtly poking at her. Yeah. Or we're desperately looking for things right now to make him another.
He's another.
All right. So Anna goes on to tell Henry that on the other side of the island, she was so sure that one of them wasn't on the plane that she dug a big ass hole and threw him in it.
Oops.
Yep.
Yep.
And Henry's like, "Well, what happened to him?" And Anna tells him that she was wrong and the guy is dead.
Died.
But lucky for Henry, she doesn't make the same mistake twice. So how about you tell me your story? Which I know she does make the same mistake twice.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
I guess what she means. Well, I guess she means she's not going to overdo it, or she's not going to make the mistake to trust the wrong guy again. Is that what she's trying
not
to
going
say?
to dig a
Referring to
40-foot
Goodwin?
hole.
Dig
Yeah.
a 3-foot hole. Yeah.
A 40-foot hole.
It was like a 40-foot hole. That
God
was
damn, that thing was
a big
huge.
hole.
Well, and she needs to also
They're really
stop
good at digging on that
prematurely
island.
They are.
pulling her gun on people.
Well, that is
too.
With
for
no
sure.
shovels or anything like that. It's amazing
Yeah.
how well they can dig.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So now we're on the beach. And Sawyer is fucking reading, "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret."
Yup.
Which I just find that so silly. So
I wonder if
Son,
that's going to be the fun facts today.
Oh, do you know?
oh, we did say it was going to be literary. Judy Bloom.
Are you there, God? It's me, Gungadin.
What?
Gungadin.
Gilgamesh, whichever.
Oh, Gilgamesh.
Are you there,
Gungadin.
God? It's me, Dostoevsky.
There's another show that I watched that in one of the scenes, a guy is in a church and he's obviously had a bad day and he's praying and he says, "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret's son." So anyway,
Yes, we will talk about Judy Bloom later in this episode.
okay. So Son approaches and asks Sawyer how it is. He calls her sunshine and he tells her that the book is predictable and doesn't have enough sex.
It's about 12-year-olds, so
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
So she asks him, "I heard you have all the medical supplies." And he says, "Yes." And she says, "May I look through them?" And he politely says, "No, you may not," with a little laugh.
Nope.
And he is intrigued as fuck.
Yeah, so she turns to leave and he's like, "Well, wait, now I'm intrigued. So come on back, tell me what you're looking for, and I'll give it to you for free." And she asks him again, "Can't I just look myself?" And he's like, "It's not a drugstore."
Yeah, I figured it was some kind of feminine thing she needed,
Yeah.
before the reveal.
So finally, Son says, "I need a pregnancy test." And she is looking really, really pale in this scene.
What?
Mhm. So Locke is in the hatch listening to music. Jack is standing by the armory door.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
No. I'm not going to join in. No, not anymore.
No.
That's part of the
Drive
past.
shaft is dead.
More like suck shaft.
Yeah. Suck shaft.
All right, Jack is standing by the armory door. He's trying to hear what Anna and Henry are saying. And Locke reminds Jack, she's only been in there for 30 minutes. And Jack asks Locke how he knows that, he hasn't snapped her neck. And she goes, "How do you know she hasn't snapped his?"
Good old Locke.
I would guess because if that were the case, she'd probably be like, "Okay, I'm ready to come out now."
Yeah. He's
You don't
dead.
just want to sit in there with a dead body. No.
Right.
So inside the armory, Anna does not seem impressed by Henry's story. She wants to know why he doesn't have a beard. And he's like, "I shaved. I needed something normal to do." And she's like, "Well, why don't you draw me a map and prove to me where the balloon is?" He says, "Everybody keeps asking him to do that. He's afraid that if he does it wrong, he will get crucified." And Anna's like, "Well, why can't you do it correctly if you can fly a balloon?" Henry starts to explain that air navigation is different. And she's like, "Well, do you know where it is?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Draw me the map."
Draw me the fucking map, Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, "That's where you buried your wife. You would know how to get there."
Yep.
And he's like, "Well, yeah, the balloon was the closest thing that we had to a home." And then he's like, "You people have been looking for someone to punish for everything that's happened to you, someone to blame, and now you've got him. It doesn't matter what I do. I'm dead already." And Anna says, "Draw me a map, or your, thoughts might play out the way you fear." So
I don't think I could do. I think if I was stranded on an island and living on a small section of it, and then trapped and kidnapped and taken to another part of the island, how do I draw a map to where I came from? That's ridiculous. How the fuck is he supposed to know where he even is?
How long has
Right?
he been there?
He's
We don't
been
know.
there.
Oh.
Yeah, we
But what
don't know
I'm saying,
yet.
well, at one point he does say that it's on the north shore of the island. So I guess he could just draw
Because I mean, if I crashed on an
Some stuff
island
that's
and was
on the North
alone,
Shore.
I'd explore it at least.
I know a little bit, but what I'm saying is he got caught in Danielle's trap, and then Saeed carried him while he with a arrow in his shoulder. Well, he's like upside down, hanging over Saeed. I'm just saying, like, I feel like if it were me, I would be disoriented and not know where the hell I was.
Because he's another, and he knows everything on the island.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right.
Yep. So we have Sun stealthily walking through the jungle. She's looking around to make sure nobody else is around. And she pulls out the pregnancy test. And then Hurley pulls a lock in a box.
Yeah.
Pops out of
It would have
nowhere.
been better if she was actually administering the test.
Like,
I know. It would have been better if she was peeing.
Yeah.
Dude.
She's peeing, and he's like, "You want some
You're
chocolate?"
peeing on a stick.
So yeah, Hurley shows up and he's holding a partially eaten Apollo bar. Sun quickly, hides the test behind her back, and Hurley pretends like he just happened to find an unmelted candy bar in the middle of the jungle. And
Yeah,
he's
it's
like,
weird.
"You wanna split it?"
It's so weird how it didn't melt, son.
Yeah.
And the
So
sugar ants
lucky.
didn't eat it.
It's a magic island, so
Yeah.
That's true.
So she's like, "No, I'm good, thank you. I'm just gonna head over to the beach." And he's like, "Okay, well, later, dude."
Calls her dude.
Yeah. And she walks away. And did anybody notice the name brand
Apollo.
on the
Yeah, he had an
pregnancy
Apollo bar.
test?
Oh, pregnancy.
Oh, on the pregnancy test. No.
I don't
What did
know.
it say?
Should we earmuff Derek?
Oh,
Well, if it's something-
if you think so,
2 seconds,
earmuff it.
yeah.
Earmuff
Yeah.
it, Derek. What was
Wasn't
it?
it the Desmond's, like, whatever, Penny's dad's company or something like that?
Widmore Labs.
Widmore
Oh,
Labs,
it
yeah.
was. Okay. Yeah.
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 All right.
Okay.
That makes sense. Alrighty. The
So-
funny thing is if he had those earmuffs off, nothing we said would have made any fucking sense to him anyway.
That's true.
That's true, but yeah.
Anywho,
Oh, well.
let's keep going.
Yeah. So we're in flashback number 3. And Jin and Sun are sitting in a doctor's office, and a doctor enters. He apologizes for the wait and sends his regards to Sun's father.
The skyline outside the windows in this looks so incredibly fake. I love it.
Yeah, and it's the
Yeah.
same buildings, I think, each time, too.
Yeah, yeah.
They look very, very similar.
Yeah.
I hadn't noticed.
Yeah, I noticed that. Just like the crappy, desert scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
The
Oh,
red
yeah.
screen.
Yeah, that's bad. So yeah, the doctor starts in with telling them that, he had done an ultrasound on Sun and it shows advanced endometriosis. He basically says that even with surgery, the chances of conceiving are impossible. Jin, you can see Jin pull his hand away from Sun.
What a dick. What
This
a
fucking
dick.
guy right
Yeah, this
now.
is
Are you
shitty as
kidding me?
fuck. Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding me, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jin gets upset and he asks Sun if she knew about this before they were married.
What?
She fucking gets livid.
What?
Yeah, and she throws some shit at him. She's like,
Oh, yes.
why would I keep something from this like you? Oh, yeah, I was trying to trap the son of a fisherman.
Loved that.
Ooh.
I would
Yeah.
have. I would have liked her to said, "I
Right in
really,
the nuts.
I really wanted to get my hooks into you."
Yeah, so Jin gets really pissed off. He stands up and pushes a stack of papers off
Yeah,
the
he
doctor's
throws those
desk.
papers
Excuse
across
me?
the room.
Yeah.
Excuse me? What the fuck kind of behavior is this? You don't just go shoving stuff off somebody else's desk, ripping stuff out of other people's gardens. Get your shit together,
He
Jin.
obviously has some
Jesus.
anger management problems.
Fuck,
Yeah,
man.
like he has the anger management of a toddler.
That's
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, he storms out, and I'm just sitting here thinking, fuck you, Jin.
Yep.
So,
Because I was like, he started redeeming himself, and now he's back to being an asshole again.
yep.
We're all backsliding.
Yep.
Ever since the back enders. They started backsliding.
Back in, backslide, back
yeah.
door. Yeah.
Ooh.
A lot of backdoor action going on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Butt stuff. Okay, so Anna bangs on the armory door, and she says, coming out. Jack opens the door, and she tells him and Locke that she's going to need more time with him before she can, determine if he's really telling the truth. She asks Jack if it's okay if she speaks to him again tomorrow after he's had some time to think. So now we have Saeed and Charlie. I don't know how this buddy relationship happened.
Before we go here, there's something that happened in this scene I didn't actually understand. Jack tells Ana Lucia, I think he says, I didn't tell anyone. Do you know what he was talking about there?
He does say that to her. I didn't tell anyone, and then she says, no worries.
Yeah.
Maybe that she was like, I don't know. Tell anyone that she's interrogating him, maybe?
I think he takes it as like the fact that she was involved in this little plan or something without his knowledge, he saw as kind of an affront. So when she comes out, he immediately tries to address that by saying like, hey, I didn't tell anybody. So like, and she's like, no worries. But I don't really understand.
Oh, Locke going behind his back?
No, I think what he's saying, I think you're putting the emphasis on the wrong word in the sentence. I think what it actually is he's saying, I didn't tell anyone, Ana, meaning I didn't leave you out. I didn't tell anyone about this. That's what he's saying.
Oh.
You understand? He's like defending himself in that way to let her know that she wasn't specifically let out, just that nobody knew.
Apparently he has to answer to her now.
Well, I don't know. I think he's just trying to make her feel better, like, about that. That's what I think he means.
Yeah. Okay. So now we have this budding relationship between Saeed and Charlie, and they're building something out of bamboo on the beach. They're discussing. Yeah, I don't know. They're discussing the details, and Ana interrupts Saeed and asks for his help. She's like, I want to talk to you alone. And he's like, you can, anything you say in front of Charlie. And Charlie blurts out, he's like, oh, are you referring to the guy locked in the closet down in the hatch? Oh, I know all about that.
Hold on.
She's like, all right, well, fuck it then. So she pulls out the map that Henry has drawn to his balloon.
It's just not a map.
It's like a little kid's drawing.
I know, seriously.
Saeed's like, well, did you show it to Jack and Locke? And she's like, Jack and Locke are a little too busy worrying about Locke and Jack.
Yep. They certainly fucking are.
Yeah. Definitely. I thought it was a great way. The way that she put that was great. And she's like, all I want to know is if this guy's telling the truth. Judging from what you did to his face, that's what you want too. And Saeed's like, well, that's at least a day's walk.
Yeah, how did he know that?
Yeah, exactly.
From that drawing?
Yeah.
Exactly. From the drawing that can't possibly be to scale. And there's no... You can't...
It's a day's walk at least. That's at least 5 kilometers inland. Like, come on, man.
And what time of the day is it now? It must be morning because they go on it.
Yeah.
And Anna's just like, well, I guess we better get going.
Yeah. So it must be like early morning.
So Ana, Saeed, and Charlie go on their little side quest. Charlie stumbles across this, stream. Ana helps him up. You can see cliffs in the distance, and Saeed thinks that he's matched the shape of the cliffs to the shape of something on the map.
Oh my God!
I know. I think of like
fucking scribbles. You're matching it like it's the goddamn Goonies, for fuck's sake. Get out of here! Jesus Christ!
One-eyed Willie.
What the fuck?
I guess Mr. Gale's a cartographer as well.
Yeah. Apparently, Jesus.
Yeah. So Anna's trying to be witty, but Saeed just kind of walks away, and Charlie says humor's not his strong suit. She doesn't respond, so he keeps going, and he's like, and I'm saying this to you, He's with two of the most serious people on the island.
For sure, so. Yeah. Well, the cop and the torturer.
Right.
So
they walk a little bit more, and Anna's bringing up the rear, and Charlie notices Anna staring at him, and he's the fucking little hobbit asshole. He says, are you looking at my bum?
No, I'm looking at how short you are.
She's like, no, I'm looking at the gun that I can see that's in your pants, and you should probably give it to someone who knows how to use it.
Ooh.
Charlie reminds Anna that when she had a weapon, she murdered someone.
Pot kettle black, Charlie.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Saeed comes around and he's like, stop. Enough of that. Stop bickering.
Ladies, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So Charlie goes to take the gun out and he pretends like he's going to hand it to Anna. And then he turns and gives it to Saeed. So,
Ooh, cool
Charlie.
move, Charlie.
Such a twat.
Charlie,
Psych.
Charlie. God, I know.
That's right.
I got you.
Oh my god.
Sick burn, bro.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're on the beach with Sun and Kate, waiting for the pregnancy test. Sun tells Kate she appreciates that she's not asking why she's there and not Jin. And Kate says, it's time. So Sun looks at the test and it's obvious that there's 2 pink lines. You're pregnant, says Kate. And Sun is like, is this 100%? And Kate says, there's only one way to find out. So they go to Jack. Yeah. So now Jack has the pregnancy test.
There's one thing in the last scene that made me chuckle because Kate says something like she jokes about who flies with a pregnancy test. And I just started laughing because I flew with pregnancy tests many times in the years that I was going through infertility because I was always trying to get pregnant and I was peeing on sticks in various states. So that made me chuckle. Anyways. I mean, anywho.
Yeah, so Jack's looking at the test and he tells Sun that there could be false negatives in the early weeks, but a positive is a positive.
Mm-hmm.
Are you positive?
Yeah. So now she asks Kate and Jack
is that
to
true?
tell Jen.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Because if it detects those hormones, there's no other reason for those hormones to be there unless you're pregnant.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell a quick little story. When I was my first girlfriend, I thought she was pregnant, and I was like 18. I was shitting my pants, and we did it in a Kentucky Fried Chicken bathroom. She peed on the stick.
My
and it came
God.
out with the 2 stripes. Like she was positive, so my life flashed before my eyes.
and it
I was like,
wasn't
I'm
real?
fucked. No, because I said, you know what? I don't believe this. So I went and I took her back to the store, got one where you pee in a cup, and I took her home to my house, and I watched her pee in that cup. I administered it, and it came up negative. So I don't know how she got the 2 positive lines. I mean, maybe she dipped in the toilet, and that person just happened to be pregnant. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, some of the tests can be faulty. Are you sure you checked the control to make sure that it was a good test?
I mean, I was
There could be
18. I
that.
barely knew about that. I just saw 2 lines, and I was like, shit, my life is over.
All right. Well, send some pre-show. I'll get some better facts about pregnancy tests. We'll figure out how that happened.
All right.
All right.
So yeah, Sun asks Jack and Kate not to tell Jen. And Jack is like, you're the last person, I'm the last person to give love advice, but you really need to tell Jen the truth.
Also not wrong.
Yeah. He's like, Jen was the last person on the island to know that you spoke English. And, look at how that turned out for you guys.
Yeah.
So Jack's like, whatever. I have to get back to the hatch. And Kate finally notices that he's been there a lot. And she's like, is everything okay? And he lies. And he says, yeah, everything's fine. And he walks off. Sun is off staring into nowhere. And Kate is like, are you okay, Sun? And then we go into another flashback. So we've got the same question from Jay Lee. Sun, are you all right? And they're speaking in English. And he tells her that she's been distracted their entire lesson. She tells him that they went to a fertility doctor who told her that she couldn't have children, and she was happy about it. Then they switch over to Korean, and Jay asks why Sun is there with him. She's been fluent in English for a month, but she still comes, and she tells him, Yep,
exactly.
So she tells him that she's leaving Jin. She's going to move to America. And he tells her that he ran away to America once for love. You can see how that turned out, you can't really run away from your life. And she says, and Jin, is he my life? And then he says, I'm not saying you should stay for Jin.
Hold up. What the fuck?
Right. And at this point in the show, Caleb pointed out to me that he looks like Asian Jeff Bezos.
He totally does.
Nah.
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
What? Yes, I can totally see it. Except this actor is attractive, and Jeff Bezos looks like somebody drew a face on a dick with a Sharpie.
Yeah. I'll fully agree with all of that. So, okay, now we have Saeed sitting by a campfire, and Charlie is sleeping, and Anna sits down next to him. He tells her that she should sleep, but she says, I can't sleep. And then she starts in with, people don't like me.
Wonder why.
I used to try to change their minds, but I gave up on that a long time ago.
You hear that, Christy?
And
she doesn't fucking care. She doesn't care you don't like her.
She don't
That's okay.
care.
She doesn't care. I can still not like her. So then she tells Saeed that he has an excellent reason to hate her. And she apologizes to him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, I don't understand this whole exchange. He says, you were only trying to protect your people. It was the others who killed Shannon.
So he's putting the blame. He's putting Anna's. Yeah, Anna's
Well, it was an
fear,
accident.
right? And that she was driven into the accident by trying to protect herself from the others, the whisperers, that kind of thing. Yes. So he's putting the blame there.
Yeah, absolutely. And so he continues, and he's referencing Henry. And Lacy, in the outline that you wrote, you said that his quote was, once we find out if he is one of them, then something will have to be done. Yeah. Saeed did not say if.
Oh, he just said once we find out he is one of them. Once we
find out he is one of them, then something will have to be done.
Remember,
he's not even leaving. Like he's not even leaving room for the idea that Henry's not another.
He said that in the last one. He said he felt absolutely 2 episodes ago. He felt absolutely no remorse for what he did to him because he knew he was one of the others. So he's already convinced.
Yeah, he's definitely made his decision.
Yeah.
Why is he bothering with confirmation for then?
He's backing her play.
Yeah, he's backing her play. Out. Well, she's backing his. Kinda. So anyway, we're on day 61. Saeed is watching Anna sleep. She wakes up and notices that, it's about to rain. Charlie shows up with papaya for breakfast.
That was kind of a cute scene. It was very Hobbit-like.
Yeah. Charlie's like, when he shows up. Eat? And, he's like, what about second breakfast? How about 11sies? So they are walking in the pouring rain, and they come to a clearing. And Saeed looks at the map, and he's like, well, this is the place. I don't see a freaking balloon. He's so pissed off and just ready to go in seconds. And Anna's like, no, if I'm going to back you up, I have to be sure. So they divide the area into 3 grids and begin searching.
Yeah, he was totally like, I just followed this stupid fucking map that's like 4 squiggly lines on a napkin or a tarp or whatever the fuck they had it on. And I don't see a balloon. Cool, gonna go kill the guy now. Why didn't you just fucking kill him? What is the point of this?
It was one of the pages from Dostoevsky's book.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that they wrote the map on. That's right. Yes. Okay.
But then he says, I'll divide this into 3 grids.
And then they just start walking.
Yeah, how? You're going to put this down on a table?
Under what,
and you're gonna,
what parameters? Grids,
they start staking things out and putting. Yeah, I know.
They just go randomly out, to start wandering around.
Yeah,
oh my God.
And, it sounds cooler when you could say, well, I'm going to break this into 3 grids, but.
It sounds official and Iraqi or Republican guard I guess I should say. Yeah.
I guess so.
Okay, so now we cut to Jin standing in the water with his net, and Bernard is also standing in the water with a net, several feet down the beach, and he's struggling. And
Who's Annette? I haven't met her yet.
Oh, God.
Dirt.
Sorry.
So Jin is speaking Jin is speaking Korean. Bernard is speaking English. They seem to, understand each other though.
Yeah, it's one of these Stewie Griffin moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, you can tell that Jin is saying you need to spread the net out more to catch fish, and Bernard's like, well, no, I'm not trying to catch fish. I'm trying to catch oysters. So I don't know. It makes sense to me that they can understand each other. And Bernard actually, pantomimes an oyster opening, and he says oyster, and then he shows taking a pearl out, and he says pearl. And then Jin got it. He replies in English, no oyster here.
What?
So,
What?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, oyster, that's not a word that you would, people use that often.
It's a weird that's the English word
He
that
learned-
you picked up.
but
Is
he
that what you
learned
mean?
the word
Yeah.
oyster from Bernard when Bernard was showing him with his hands how an oyster opens.
I guess
And he
so.
said
Okay.
oyster.
So you're thinking he picked it up right that very
Oh, right
second.
there.
Yeah,
And
right-
then he
right
says,
then.
no
Yeah.
oyster here. Okay, got it. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
Bernard said
All right.
oyster. So
Okay.
So now Sawyer walks up and he looks at Jin and he says, "Hey, Daddy-O, way to go, Papa-san. You didn't waste much time.
The
I'd
smile,
give you a cigar, Bernie, but I'm fresh out."
the
called him
smile on
Bernie.
Sawyer's face when he walks up is
Oh,
hilarious.
so-
He's just, I know something you don't know.
Oh,
like a
man.
little kid.
Yep.
It was so gross.
Nah.
Yeah, so then Bernard asks Sawyer, "Oh, is son pregnant?" And Sawyer says yes, but that Jin doesn't know yet. And you can see Jin staring at the two of them and not understanding. And it sounds like they changed the English to make it sound like gibberish so that you can see from
It was playing
Jin's
backward.
perspective.
It's in
Oh, is
reverse.
that what it was?
It was
Reversed.
playing backward. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you listen to it again, it's that how it
Like if
sounds.
you play a record backwards, it'll like be words to Satan or something.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I summon him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we cut to Jin, and he is in Sun's garden, and he is replanting everything that he has destroyed. She shows up, and he apologizes to her. He tells her that he hates fighting with her, and he legit says, I need you. I can't understand anyone. I can't talk to them. I can't understand what they're saying. Now,
Hold up.
This moment-
So does he want her because he loves her? Because he needs a fucking
Right.
translator?
yeah, so
Translator.
I wrote, Jin didn't decide to stop being a dick to Sun because he realized that he was being a dick. He
Yeah.
did it because he realizes that he legit needs her. Like, without her, he is all kinds of fucked
Yeah.
since he doesn't know English.
Yeah.
And this
It's
is not
as
a romantic moment.
No, it's really not as romantic as it seems like it's being portrayed.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, Sun confesses that she is pregnant. Jin is overjoyed. He grabs her, lifts her off the ground, and then he notices that Sun looks kind of concerned and asks if she's okay. And she says, "There's something I need to tell you."
Uh-oh.
Yep. So we go to flashback number 5. Sun is walking that ugly ass dog of hers. I'm sorry, I do not think that adult Shar-Peis are cute.
They're
They're
not.
cute as
Bobo.
puppies, and then they are not cute as adults.
They're
Correct.
very hard to take care of. You have to clean in between all of the folds so that they don't get like
big skin problems.
infection
and what a
in there,
giant
yeah.
pain in the ass.
mm-hmm.
So Sun is walking this ugly dog, and a car pulls up beside her, and we realize that it is the fertility doctor, Dr. Kim. And he's like, get in the car. And she's like, no.
Mhm.
And she just keeps
Excuse me?
walking.
I'll get you pregnant.
Right.
Uh-oh.
So,
Oh,
I got excellent
So in-
motility.
Yeah. I'll get through that endometriosis.
So he puts his car in park. He gets out, and he's like, I have to talk to you. He explains that he lied to them. It's not Sun that's infertile. It's Jin.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah. And he's like, I couldn't tell a man like your husband, a man who works for your father,
Yep.
Mr. P is fucking shit up again.
Yep. But he's like, if I told him that kind of news, he would have burned my practice to the ground.
Yep.
And Son's like, well, why are you telling me? And he says, because you deserve to know the truth. So now we're back to the exact moment in their garden. Jin looks stunned and he's like, why didn't you tell me? And she says, how could I?
No shit.
And Jin's like, well, how can you be pregnant if I am infertile? And she swears that she's never been with another man. And Jin declares, then it's a miracle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look,
so,
Jin's just stupid as Joseph.
Yeah, he's a rude.
Seriously.
Hey, look to the east. Yeah.
Oh, of course it's a miracle. Got it.
God.
It's some frankincense or whatever the shit it's called.
Myrrh.
Myrrh, yeah.
So now Sun and Jin are working together in their garden. They're talking about what they'd like to name the baby. And then Jin asks if he can tell people. And Sun says, well, Jack, Kate, and Sawyer already know. And you can see something click for Jin. And he says, Daddy-o. And then he tells Sun that Bernard knows too.
That's cute. Like he just immediately figures out that scene on the beach. Yeah.
It was cute. So they have a little laugh about not having anyone left to tell by the time they get back to camp. And Jin's like, well, let's head back to camp. And Sun says, I'd like to stay another 20 minutes by myself.
So he tears the garden up.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you're not.
Fuck
Can you imagine?
Fuck these plants.
Like he's going to be so much less protective of her now that she's carrying a child.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like that would make it
Yeah,
even worse.
Yeah.
She comes back and he's just like got a flamethrower on her,
Yeah.
on her garden.
But he does give her this time by herself, and he goes to walk away, and she says, I love you in Korean, and he says it back to her in English, and she puts her hands on her belly and smiles.
Okay,
Now,
that's cute and all, but I'm still pretty worried about this relationship. There are some big red flags here.
Yeah, there's still a lot of big red flags, but honestly, when she said, I love you, she kind of looked surprised by herself.
Oh, you thought
said it.
so? Interesting.
I can see. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I thought. So, Henry is reading his book back in the armory when Jack enters and he asks him how the book is. Going from someone who said that he couldn't read 5 pages, all of a sudden Henry is now quoting Dostoevsky. Men reject their prophets and slay them, but they love their martyrs and honor those whom they have slain. He asks
Wow,
Jack
that's true.
what the difference between a martyr and a prophet is, and Jack replies, either way, it sounds like you end up dead.
Yep.
So Jack brings Henry out of the armory for cereal with Locke. He sees the computer room and he asks what it's for, but they just ignore him.
He knows.
And then he asks about the
Derek
cereal.
is on Team Other for Henry Gale.
Yeah. So he asks about the cereal and they're like, well, there's a pantry. And Henry mentions how neither of them seem very curious about all this stuff. And he's like, well, I guess that the cereal is a reward for me finally drawing that map for Anna. And
I think he says something like, you
Gale.
guys really don't seem to know what's going on here, do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the confusion that Locke nor Jack have any idea what he's talking about. And Henry says, wow, you guys have some real trust issues, don't you?
What the hell?
Yes, it makes sense she didn't tell you. I mean, with the two of you fighting all the time. Of course, if I was one of them, these people that you seem to think are your enemies, what would I do? Well, there'd be no balloon. So I'd draw a map to a real secluded place, like a cave or some underbrush. A good place for a trap, an ambush.
What?
And when your friends got there, a bunch of my people would be waiting for them. Then they'd use them to trade for me. I guess it's a good thing I'm not one of them, huh? You guys got any milk?
I knew it.
What?
And I'm like,
Knew it.
come on, people. His name is fucking Henry Gale. We know that's not
I just
real.
wanted to see a picture of him right there, like freeze framed with a got milk underneath it.
I knew it. I knew it.
That is the end of episode 16. Shall we talk a little bit about Judy Blume?
Yes,
Sure.
let's.
All right. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. This is a book that I was given by my mother as a child, and she was given by her mother. Judy Blume wrote it in 1970, and it is a young adult novel aimed at early adolescent girls. Margaret, a girl of that age, she's about 12, explores her desire for a cohesive religion and confronts preteen issues such as buying her first bra, having her first period, and liking boys. This is why Christy was busting up laughing when Sawyer was reading it.
Yeah, exactly, because I wouldn't read that.
Margaret Simon, she's 11, and she's away at summer camp when her parents decide to move from very exciting Manhattan, New York City, to sleepy Farbrook, New Jersey. And it's basically just a coming of age story for a young girl. The thing about Margaret is as she's turning 12, she realizes that she's kind of in a different world because half of her family is Jewish and half of her family is Christian, and everyone in her neighborhood is Christian. And so it's a sore spot for Margaret since she was raised in a secular family. And like I said, this book was given to me as a child. This is how I was raised. My mother's parents were Jewish and Catholic. She was raised in a secular family, as was I, but I was raised to learn about Catholicism and Judaism. And so in this book, Margaret has she's got a relationship with God. She doesn't know which God, who's God, or any of that, but she does talk to him quite often in the book as she tries to figure out where she fits in religion-wise. So she has several
So not
really
nearly enough sex.
Yeah, exactly. So she has a bunch of girlfriends, and she kind of goes to churches and, with their families and stuff. It's the same thing I did as a kid. I went to all different kinds of churches and synagogues and things like that with friends as I learned about religion because my parents just didn't really take me. She meets her long lost grandparents, and she spends a lot of time worrying about getting her period, which is hilarious. Thinking of Sawyer, she gets a crush on an older boy and goes to her first party, and it's basically just a book for young girls to help kind of figure themselves out. However, considering that this was published in 1970, the sort of frank treatment of adolescent sexuality and religion lands this book on the top 100 most frequently challenged books at libraries, according to the American Library Association, because they got a lot of prudes out there who hate literature.
Challenged, what does that mean? Like they want to get rid of it or ban it? It means
people are complaining, they don't want it in the library. They want the library
they're doing now with a lot of books?
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct. So what's interesting is the book shares this list of books that people want to ban from libraries with two other books that are mentioned in the Lost series. One of them we've already talked about, A Wrinkle in Time, and the other is The Outsiders, which we've all read in high school.
I did not read that in high school.
Me neither.
I did not read that in high school.
So just kidding. That was my high school. So the book was challenged in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and the Fond du Lac, Wisconsin school systems, both of them in 1982. And the book was listed as sexually offensive and amoral, which means everyone should read it.
Yes.
Here's something interesting to finish this segment. During an interview with NPR, Judy Blume said the following. When I started to write, it was the 70s, and throughout that decade, we didn't have any problems with book challenges or censorship. It all really started a big way in 1980. It came with the election, the presidential election of 1980, and the next day I've been told the censors were crawling out of the woodwork and challenging, like, it's our turn now, and we're going to say what we don't want our children to read. She is, of course,
Reagan destroyed this country.
She is, of course, referring to the election of Ronald Reagan, which was, in hindsight, the beginning of the end for this country. We're just before the end of it now. Anyway, shall we move on to best and worst moments? Christy, give us yours.
My best moment was when Sun said, "I love you" to Jin, and she kind of looked surprised that it even came out of her mouth. But I think that it was real.
Okay, yeah.
And, seeing as they had been kind of arguing, during this episode, I think that it was a good way for that to end. And then worst moment was, Henry's bullshit about the gang's trust issues. What? That was...
Knew it.
I remember the first time that I watched that, and I was just like, oh my God, I cannot fucking believe I have to wait a week to find out what happens next.
I've been waiting a week. I watched this episode Sunday night, so...
Well, and it's funny
But now I can watch the next episode.
Right. Yeah. Last night, I had finished up all of my work for preparing for today, and I was thinking, I'm going to go ahead and watch the next couple of episodes. But then I realized how much I already get confused in my head. So I was like, I can't add any more lost knowledge to my brain right now, or I will totally fuck it up.
I'm always confused because you have to understand what I'm working on all at the same time. I'm making timelines, so I'm way in the future. I'm editing season 1, so I'm way in the past. I'm recording this, so then I'm in the middle. My head is always...
You have a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, I have a lot of flashbacks while making the podcast. All right, so my best moment was the Jack Locke shower scene. I mean, oh my God. So fucking good. So fucking good.
I just love that Locke actually checked out Jack's package and that. Yeah, that was
great.
amazing.
So I thought I was the only one who noticed that. Wow.
I was going to...
eyes cut down. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder if everybody else noticed, because it's pretty obvious to me.
And then the worst moment is, it's worse, but it's also kind of a best moment. It's Henry's speech at the end, just like, right? Because I've been rooting. I want him to be another, and this feels like confirmation, right? Either that, or he's just one tricky, sticky, like kind of an asshole. I don't know, but so I'm loving that that's what it is. But then at the same time, I'm going, oh no, because I wanted him to be an other because he was leverage. Looks like that's gone.
Did you call him a sticky asshole?
Ew.
I don't know what I said.
Ooh, sticky.
I think you said a tricky and a sticky
asshole. Sticky.
Well, I agree that was the worst moment, because that was the worst moment that I had too. You would think that if Henry...
Sticky asshole?
Yeah, sticky asshole.
He's a sticky.
All right.
One would think that if Henry was trying to convince him that he was not an other, he wouldn't be like trying to get in between.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, if he's not an other, then he's just like, he's a sticky asshole, I guess. Because like, why are you behaving like that? Yeah, Jesus, dude. All right, Derek. What's your best and your worst moments this week?
My best moment was when Sun found out she was pregnant, even though she was told it was impossible, and then the worst moment was, Henry Gale basically telling Jack and Locke that he sent their friends into a trap.
Yeah.
You guys got any milk?
It's a great ending to that episode.
That was a great ending, yes.
It's pretty great, and he was so pleased with himself. It was validation of
what I thought for this since Henry Gale first appeared.
Appeared, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Ben. Best and worst, sir.
Favorite scene was Henry Gale's musings at the end about his what he'd do if he were an other. My least favorite scene was when Jin just turns on Sun in the doctor's office, and then she,
that's pretty bad.
Immediately like, did you know this or whatever? It's just like, Jesus, dude, you're poison.
Yeah,
I loved how she came back at him.
Oh,
though. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna trap fisherman's son. Yeah, okay,
that's fucking amazing.
Give us your characters too, Ben.
Oh, let's see. My characters in this one, my favorite was Henry Gale.
Huh?
Yep.
Ben loves Henry.
I love Henry. I think he's an awesome character. He's exactly what is needed in this point, because right now everyone they're all turning against each other. They're all backsliding. They need something to unite around. That's what he's going to provide, true. I believe. So,
all right.
And then second place, Locke, because his power moves in this one are pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then Sun is my third best. Worst was Jin. And second worst, I got Charlie, because he's just he's been a shit in this episode. He's actually been a shit for like the last season. I feel like he's just always kind of being a little prick to everyone. I'm going to fuck Sun and Ana Lucia. And I'm not killing anyone this episode.
Oh, all right. I didn't have 3 top and 3 bottom characters this week. I had Locke and Henry Gale. Locke's power move, using Anna to get at Jack, was bold, and I loved it. And Henry Gale, you son of a bitch. I understand your argument, Ben. You are correct that he brings a lot to the show. I love him in that way. But as his behavior on the show right now, he feels like an enemy. So I almost did another Jack and Locke threesome after that shower scene, but I think I've had 2 of those already. So instead, I'm going to fuck Jin in the flashback in that bed with the 10-foot headboard, and I'm going to make Sun watch while she wears the blue bikini.
Wow.
I'm going to kill
Mr.
Mr.
Huge headboard, though.
I'm going to kill
crazy.
Mr. P again because he's behind all of this fucking shit.
Yeah.
The fact that everything, all of this conflict I hate that guy. Fuck Mr. P. Killing him again. Christy, what do you think?
My top 3 are Sun, Rose, and Kate. And my bottom 3 are Henry, Saeed, and that little twat Charlie. I'm going to fuck Sun in the flashbacks. She looks great in the flashbacks. And I'm going to kill Henry Gale because he's fucking creepy.
Yeah, he's creepy in the best way, isn't he?
Yeah, like he just really crossed into creepy territory.
Yeah. All right, Derek, what do you think?
The top 3 were Sun, Ana Lucia, and Saeed. And my worst were Henry, Jin, and Charlie. And I'm going to fuck Sun, just because that little beginning scene, and then kill Henry Gale. Because, yes, I do like what he adds to the show, but I just, he's another.
All right. He's an other. Ben, what's going on in our power rankings? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all. Mr. Echo,
Really?
114 points on top. Locke, second place, 70 points. And Kate in third place with 53 points. At the bottom, we've still got Charlie at negative 64 points. And we still have Randy Douchebag Nations and Mr. Cooper. Nothing changing.
Oh, we're going to have to go back and factor
Henry's
in
not
Ado and
making any
Dave's.
headway?
See if that makes a difference. All right. Let's do some final impressions. Ben, how did you feel about this episode?
I really, really liked this episode. I thought, the last handful of episodes, a couple of them I didn't care for. This one I liked because you start to see, once again, it's just fun. I think the whole thing with Locke and Jack and their whole sort of prick waving contest, I quite enjoy that. I really like that Henry Gale is bringing back some menace to the show that is kind of forced the originals to band together and all that. And I actually really liked the storyline with Sun and Jin. Seeing her in the nightie and all that type of stuff was pretty nice. That's not much more to it than that.
Okay, Christy, what are your final impressions?
Yeah, this was a really good episode. Charlie's still a twat, but I think that for the most part, this did a lot to kind of further the narrative. So yeah, that's really good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, agreed. The narrative is certainly pushed in this one, especially, if you're just even considering like the last 45 seconds of the episode. For me, I like, wow, this is quite an episode. Another baby on the island? Seriously? And did Henry set a trap? Did he really? Is he an other? I'm freaking out. Oh my God. More, please. That's how I feel at the end of this episode, number 16. Derek, what did you think? And what are your questions?
I thought it was a very good episode. We find out the son is pregnant, and even though Jen was being a big asshole at the beginning, tearing up the garden,
Sticky asshole.
Sticky asshole.
Sticky asshole.
He fixes it at the end, pretty much, and then Henry Gale is an other, and he has sent Charlie, Syed, and Anna into a trap and is smug about it. But my biggest question is, did Henry Gale send them into a trap?
Is
I've
it
got a question.
trap? Okay.
Someone's dog's asking questions too.
I've got a question here. My question is, was this the whole truth?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's the title of the episode, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was it the whole truth? Meaning, did he really spell out every little bit of what is about to happen at the end of season 2?
I would
or
think that it would
are we getting another
a
twist?
Question more about Sun.
That's exactly what I was
Since it's
thinking.
a
Was
son.
more
Oh,
Yeah.
about
her
son.
whole truth.
Yeah.
Oh, as in, has she been with
the
another
whole
man?
truth is, how did she get pregnant?
The island is magic.
All right, guys. There's something to be said for that, Christy. We will get some answers about whether or not that is the whole truth and Jin is, in fact, the father, or maybe it's Jehovah. But that doesn't all come next week. And what we will have next week is another episode from Derek. It's a lock episode. I'm pretty sure Ben named it because it's called Lockdown. And we're going to see you guys next week for episode 17. All right. Bye.
Bye, Al.
Bye.
Lost in My 40s is a Space Bear Media production. Executive produced and edited by me, Lacy J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trimp. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook to interact with your hosts. Plus, follow Space Bear Media on YouTube to watch our episode pre-shows. You can also find us at SpaceBear_media on Instagram and Twitter. Or come to our website, spacebearmedia.com.